tide rolls out. The summertime is just about gone.
Howdy folks, Captain Chris Medlin here. I'm going to do a how-to video for you on how to set up a slip bobber rig. This rig right here will allow you to be able to fish with a bobber in much deeper water than what you can actually cast. A little slide on here. It'll slide down your line and stop your bobber wherever you want it. So if you want to fish in 20 foot of water with a bobber, you can do it. If you want to fish in 10 foot of water with a bobber, you can do it. You want to fish in 100 foot of water with a bobber, you can do it. And I'll show you how to set this up here in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. Thanks. Howdy folks, Captain Chris Medlin of East Coast Sports here. I promised I'd do you guys a how-to video on how to set up a slip bobber rig. And the rig that we generally use here, I use Betts Billy Boy bobbers. They seem to work real good. When you open the package up, you're gonna get the bobber, of course, and you're gonna get two beads, one large bead, one small bead, and you will also get a bobber stop. This is essentially a nail knot that's been tied on a tube, so it's easy to apply to your line. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to use some 65-pound Power Pro just because it's easy to see. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our line and we're going to pass it through the tube that the slip bobber knot thing stops on. And then we're going to push it on through and tighten it down, and make sure you have the tube come off the bottom or else you'll have it stuck up your line like I did in an earlier video and had to cut it out and redo it. Alright, so now you've got your little knot on your line here. This is what will stop a bead. So you can slide that up your line. You're going to take this small bead and place it on your line. If you'll notice, it'll slide down to stop right there. Then put your bobber on. You can decide whether you like red or green, either one. And notice it stops right there. Bam. That knot stops it from doing it right there. Alright. And then you're going to put on another bead, the larger one. And then your sinker, which we're going to use an egg sinker here. You can use different sizes depending on what kind of depth of water you're fishing in and what you're fishing for. And then we're just going to tie this on a swivel. I'm going to just use a regular, what I call my regular fisherman's knot here to tie that. Probably won't put as many wraps as I normally would since I won't be really fishing with it. Then we'll just tighten that down. And then of course we'll trim those ends off. Maybe. Alright. So if you'll notice this knot right here, you can slide this up and down your line as far as you want. If you want to fish in 20 foot of water with a slip bobber, you can do it. If you want to fish in 100 foot of water with a bobber, you can do it. Normally the bobber is attached to where you can't reel up inside your line, and that's as deep as you can fish with a bobber. So, you know, if your rod is 7 foot long, that's about as deep as you're going to be able to fish with a bobber. With this knot being able to be wound up inside your reel, you can fish in a much deeper area with a bobber. So you can go out to like the nearshore reefs to fish for flounder in say 40 foot of water and still be fishing with a bobber and be able to see when the fish actually takes to bait. Okay. Now for the leader, I would normally suggest using like a 20-pound fluorocarbon or something like that. I'm going to use, again, Power Pro here just for demonstration purposes so that you can see it a lot better. The majority of people that are fishing for speckled trout, red drum, things like that are going to use a live bait, such as a live mullet or a live shrimp. If you're using a live shrimp, most of the time people are going to use like a 2X number 4 eagle claw hook. So that's what I'm going to tie on here. This is a 2X, which means it's not as heavy a gauge wire, so that it has a better hook penetration. So we're just going to go ahead and tie our hook on. I'm going to use my regular fisherman's cinch knot here. You could use a tri-lane knot if you like, if you want to leave a little if you want to leave it a little loose on there so that there's no action taken away. But I think live shrimps usually got plenty enough action. If you're going after red drum, I probably wouldn't suggest using treble hooks, just because a lot of them, you want to release. And then you would go with like a circle hook or a Kale style hook in a number 1 size would probably be best, or 2/0, something like that. Then I'm going to attach this to the bottom part of the swivel that we've got on our slip bobber rig, just with my regular fisherman's knot. And slide that down. And so here's your entire rig. It's kind of hard to see, I know, just like that, but what you've got, you've got your knot, you got your small bead, you got your float, you got your large bead, you got your egg weight, you got your swivel, you got your leader, and you've got your hook. And this is a great way to fish for speckled trout, red drum, flounder, all kinds of fish that you want to fish deeper with a bobber. I've used it last year for ladyfish. It worked real good then too. Even when the fish weren't busting up on top, we could catch them down a little bit deeper, and those guys are kind of hard to detect when they bite, but the bobber certainly helped catch those fish that way. The products that we use, of course, were the Eagle Claw 2X size 4 treble hooks, Tsunami 65-pound test swivels. That's a good swivel for. And in addition, if you break your line off or something like that, or lose your knot, then you can buy packs of just those knots already made. If you get in a pinch, you can do a double uni knot, or I guess a single uni knot on your line with just a heavy piece of mono, and that'll work too for a bobber stop. And you can wind this right up into your reel and cast it. There's no problems with that. But we got all this here at the store. You guys come on down and see us. Thanks a lot for watching my video. I hope I helped you out. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me at chris@eastcoastsports.com. Thanks a lot.
One more day.